just what are your plans for the off season and possibly playing or just doing individual workouts?
Yeah, I mean, probably take a little bit of a break here, just for maybe a week. I don't really want to lose a ton of the stuff I've worked on, and just trying to get my body back to full health. There's some USA basketball.
The final buzzer of the WNBA season sounds not with a bang, but with a collective, weary exhalation. A sigh that emanates from players whose bodies are maps of bruises and strains, from coaches whose voices are reduced to gravel, from fans emotionally spent from a playoff run of stunning intensity. It is a signal for the basketball world to enter its brief monastic period, a time for healing, for quiet individual workouts in empty gyms, for family, for the forgotten art of stillness. The narrative, it seems, has been written. The champions bask. The contenders regroup. The rookies, wide-eyed and battered, finally understand the true weight of the league they've entered. This year, that peaceful interlude lasted approximately 48 hours. Then, Sophie Cunningham detonated it. If you have existed anywhere near the digital bloodstream of sports in the last week, you have seen it. Not just seen it, but felt its seismic ripple. The Phoenix Mercury's self-anointed villain, the league's premier antagonist, did not simply release a promotional campaign for the new Unrivaled 3-on-3 league. She staged a hostile takeover of the off-season's narrative. The footage is a stark, calculated departure from the sweat-soaked grassroots aesthetics of the hardwood. Gone is the game day scowl, replaced by something more languid, more potent, and infinitely more dangerous. The camera drinks her in. She is backlit, haloed not by arena lights but by a sleek, indeterminate glow. The soundtrack is a low, throbbing pulse, a heartbeat of impending confrontation. She moves with a predator's patience, her gaze not challenging the viewer, but assessing them, finding them wanting. She is clad not in jersey and shorts, but in the armor of a modern superstar, a tailored, dark ensemble that speaks of power lunches and private jets as much as pick and rolls. A slow, knowing smile plays on her lips. It is the smile of someone holding 4 aces in a game you didn't even know you were playing. The caption, when it appears, is a blade of a sentence. The future is unrivaled. The internet, predictably and as designed, exploded. Comments sections transformed into digital coliseums. The baddest villain in the game, one faction cheered, reveling in her unabashed embrace of the role. All that glam can't hide dirty play, fired back another, the partisans of a different icon. The clip was dissected, frame by frame, a Rorschach test of fandom. But to get lost in the debate over her appearance, her look, is to fall for the magician's sleight of hand. The glitter is the misdirection. The real magic, the real story, is not about Sophie Cunningham's metamorphosis. It is about the deafening, silent-shattering response her calculated provocation was designed to elicit. It was a gambit laid on the global table, with millions in potential revenue as the chips. The target was singular, inevitable, and luminous. Caitlin Clark. For months, a specific, pressurized narrative had been building in the media echo chamber. It was a story of redemption, of a long-awaited showdown, of the NCAA princess finally facing her WNBA tormentor on a neutral, made-for-TV battlefield. The Unrivaled League, the ambitious new venture founded by Brianna Stewart and Nafisa Collier, offered the perfect arena. It promised 6-figure salaries, ownership stakes, and a chance to control one's own brand during the off-season. It had recruited fiercely, and in Sophie Cunningham, it had found not just a player, but a perfect narrative catalyst, a viral villain to sell the conflict. The script was irresistible. The offer, reports leaked, was Messi-esque in its scale. Equity, creative control, a king's ransom. Cunningham's viral ad was the final, tantalizing piece of bait. It was a visual taunt, a gauntlet thrown not just at Clark's feet, but at her very identity. "We are over here building the future," the ad seemed to whisper, its subtext screaming. "Your rival is helping us build it. She is defining its aesthetic, claiming its spotlight. Can you, the anointed one, the record breaker, really afford to be left out? Can you let her have this stage unchallenged?" The basketball world held its breath. the media machine's word, ready to chronicle the acceptance, the hype, the build-up to the ultimate one-on-one grudge match. The league reserved a wild-card spot. The cameras were poised, and the storylines were pre-written. And then, Caitlin Clark did the one thing no one in the high-stakes drama had truly anticipated. She declined to perform her part. Her announcement was not delivered with Cunningham's cinematic flair. It came through the quieter channels of insider reports, of camp statements, of deliberate, controlled leaks. The essence was a masterclass in subversion. While the world expected a declaration of war, Clark announced a retreat. Not a surrender, a strategic withdrawal. She spoke of fatigue, not just of the body, but of the soul. She mentioned the need for a true break, for mental decompression. She talked of healing the myriad minor injuries, the wear and tear, that is, the unglamorous tax of a rookie season spent as the league's most hunted prey. And most intriguingly, she hinted at other pursuits. Golf, simple, quiet, individual golf. Perhaps even a pro-am appearance. It was the antithesis of the Unrivaled League's gritty, in-your-face, team-based intensity. The statement, in its serene defiance, was a thunderclap. It flipped the script entirely. This was no longer a story about Clark being lured into a rival's trap. It was a story about power, leverage, and the audacity to say no. The massive, silence-breaking announcement wasn't a signature on a contract. It was the sound of a door quietly but firmly closing. For now, what we are witnessing now is a Cold War fought with viral clips and strategic silence. It is a power struggle that transcends sport, touching on the very fundamentals of celebrity, economics, and narrative control in the modern athletic era. This is the story of the Gambit and the Ghost. To understand the potency of Cunningham's Gambit, one must first understand her journey. She did not arrive in the league with Clark's meteoric fanfare or Stewart's championship pedigree. She carved her path with the tools available to her: relentless energy, physical fearlessness, and a psychological acuity often missed by those who see only the hard fouls. Sophie Cunningham mastered a crucial, often undervalued, tenet of professional sports. In an ecosystem of stars, there is immense value in a defined, marketable role. She is not the soloist. She is the conductor of chaos. On the court for the Mercury, her job is to absorb the toughest defensive assignments, to inject adrenaline through sheer force of will, to be the emotional lightning rod. She is the enforcer, the irritant, the player whose very presence on the court raises the temperature of the game by 10 degrees. Her rivalry with Clark was not manufactured. It was organic combustion. From their first matchup, Cunningham established the terms of engagement. She picked Clark up full court, her body a constant, physical annotation in the margins of Clark's brilliance. It was more than defense. It was a sustained psychological opera. The bumps after the whistle, the words muttered in the lane, the infamous shoulder check that sent Clark stumbling, these were not mere fouls. They were statements. They were a brutal, visceral welcome to the league. A message delivered in the oldest language of sports: physicality. Your college trophies mean nothing here, it said. This is my house. The internet, ever hungry for archetypes, branded her instantly: the bully, the villain. And Cunningham, with a savvy that transcends her on-court persona, did not shy away. She leaned in. In post-game interviews, she offered no contrite apologies. She spoke of setting a tone, of respect earned through competition, of the unwritten rules of professional initiation. She understood that in the new economy of women's sports, driven by social media engagement and personal brand, being hated by millions is far more valuable than being unknown. She monetized the animosity. The Unrivaled League promotional clip is the zenith of this strategy. It is not an athlete promoting a competition. It is a villain refining her brand. The gritty, snarling on-court persona is polished into a cool, sleek, and intimidating aura of corporate menace. She is selling a version of the WNBA's future that is glamorous, high-stakes, and unapologetically confrontational. She is offering herself as the face of that future, a future built not just on skill, but on personality, on conflict, on story. Her power move is one of aggressive presence. She is flooding the zone with her image, claiming territory in the offseason void. By saying yes to Unrivaled so publicly and so stylistically, she forces a binary choice onto others, especially Clark. She is building the Colosseum and standing triumphantly in its center, waiting for the promised gladiator to arrive. Her leverages activity, noise, and the compelling narrative of a showdown. If Cunningham's power is one of overwhelming presence, Caitlin Clark's, in this moment, is the power of the void. Her announcement is a study in leverage held and exercised with breathtaking calm. Clark exists in a different stratosphere of fame. Her rookie season was not just a basketball campaign. It was a cultural phenomenon. She played under a microscope of unprecedented scale. Her every move chronicled, her every failure magnified, her every success historic. The physical toll was public. The bruises, the falls, the relentless defensive schemes designed solely to stop her. But the psychological toll, the exhaustion of being the perpetual center of the universe, the face of a league's explosive growth, the recipient of both worship and vile hatred, is unimaginable to most. Her decision to step away is, on one level, profoundly human. It is an act of self-preservation. But to view it merely as a retreat is to miss its strategic genius. By choosing golf, a solitary, serene, and decidedly non-basketball pursuit, Clark makes a monumental statement. My value is not dependent on your league. It is a silent flex that reverberates through boardrooms. The Unrivaled League's business model, for all its star power, hinges on a simple premise: attracting the game's single biggest draw. Cunningham's ad, for all its brilliance, is ultimately a supporting actor begging for a lead. By removing herself, Clark demonstrates that she does not need Unrivaled. Unrivaled desperately needs her. She inverts the power dynamic. She is not a player auditioning for a spot. She is the prize, watching from a distance to see if the venture proves itself worthy of her time. This is the economy of the modern superstar, and Clark is its nascent master. She understands her brand is built on a scarcity model, the once-in-a-generation talent, the deep-range sorceress, the untouchable icon. Joining a 3-on-3 league, no matter how well compensated, would make her just one of 30, subject to the same hacking fouls in a smaller gym. It would dilute the aura. By staying away, she preserves her mystique. She remains the white whale, the unobtainable object of desire that makes every other event feel slightly incomplete. Her leverage is patience. It is the quiet confidence of someone who knows that her next appearance, whenever and wherever it is, will break records simply because she has been absent. She is restricting the supply of Caitlin Clark, making the eventual demand for her WNBA games, for her eventual overseas or all-star appearances, cataclysmic. The stalemate between the Gambit and the Ghost sends shockwaves far beyond social media hype. The financial ripple. Cunningham's viral moment is a testament to the Caitlin Clark effect she ostensibly opposes. The massive influx of interest, media dollars, and sponsorship eyes into the WNBA has lifted all boats. A role player from 5 years ago would not have a viral ad of this production quality. Cunningham is brilliantly riding the wave Clark generated, attaching her brand to the main narrative as the necessary counterpoint. Her market value soars precisely because of the rivalry Clark inspires. Conversely, Clark's no is a stark financial warning to Unrivaled's backers. It asks the mult,